anyway, have y'all seen in the YSL case? Oh my God, Chad. Yo, the YSL case is in shambles, man. Like, literally, like, first and foremost, Young Thug got headphones on in court. This is one of the lawyers for the YSL niggas. Listen to this.
Don't worry about that, okay? Because it wouldn't be, I'd have to do it anyway. So Don't even worry about that, okay?
Okay. I was saying that it's just not true. It's cap, to be honest. But
don't worry about that, okay? Because it wouldn't be, I'd have to do it anyway. So Don't even worry about that, okay?
Okay. I was saying that it's just not true. It's cap, to be honest.
The lawyer's telling the judge it's cap. Like, bro. This is going to be crazy, bro. The lawyer's telling the judge it's cap. Fuck out of here, man. Yeah. Also, listen to this shit.
Next two things are just follow-ups on other business that we held a little earlier. Mr. Menendez, good morning, sir. You were supposed to buy lunch for your colleagues. Have you done that as of yet? You were supposed to have done that by March the 17th. Did you go to, I told you, Jason's Deli? Did you satisfy that prong of your contempt yet?
I don't believe I was, Your Honor.
You were held in contempt, young man. And if you want to revisit that again, we can certainly open it up. But I satisfied your contempt by you paying $250, which you did, and I have a receipt from that of your choosing, which that was done to Miles College. I have that receipt here. And the other thing was to purchase lunch for each of your attorney colleagues, in this case, on Friday, March the 17th, from Jason's Deli. So prong one's been settled. Prong two was you're supposed to buy your colleagues lunch by that date. Next two things are just follow up.
God damn. Yo, the judge. By the way, this case is gonna take the whole year, man. Like they're doing all type of goofiness in this case. Like, this shit is like getting out of hand. The judges have people writing essays, niggas buying lunch. You know, I think they sent somebody to jail for like 24 hours, or was it like 2 days or something like this. Also, the people who are public defendants, YSL public defend chick. Basically, the lawyers came out and they said, yo, look, YSL defense lawyers say they could make more money at Chick-fil-A. They want to be taken off the case. They don't want to even work the case no more. You know why? Because essentially a lot of people who are these defense attorneys that are paid by the state, they're kind of given like these stipends, or like they're paid over a certain period of time, or like kind of by case in a sense. And they're just realizing that this thing's going to take a year, and that they're going to sacrifice this year and not making much money. So let me read a little bit. It says, a new twist has emerged in the ongoing racketeering trial of rapper Young Thug and his alleged associates, right? They say 7 public defenders appointed by the Georgia Public Defender Council to represent 3 of the 14 defendants in the case claim they're not paid enough for their services. By the way, Young Thug is going to be spending $10 million. That's easy. Like there's zero way he doesn't spend $10 million defending himself and trying to get his freedom. And, you know, from here all the way to trial, all the way to sentencing, and maybe even other appeals later on, all right? So he's going to be spending, man. Like, again, you got the top guy, like Young Thug's lawyer, Brian Steele, top guy, right? So he's spending through the ass, but Young Thug is rich. Or there's going to be companies that's going to be like, yo, we'll front the money now, because if we get Young Thug out, we know he's going to make it up for us, right? These other guys who are representing the shooters and all these other guys who are broke, they got public defenders, but these guys are realizing this shit's taking too long. So the defense attorneys argue that the compensation they receive needs to be revised given the intense workload and the high-profile nature of the case. Angela D. Williams, an attorney representing Rondelius Ryan, submitted a motion this week requesting a withdrawal from the case. She describes the pay as egregiously low for the amount of work and attention this trial requires. Fellow defense attorney, which, by the way, imagine this. If your lawyer's complaining about money to the court, you don't want that motherfucker to be representing you in court. Let's be honest, right? You don't want that person to be representing you in court if they're complaining about money. They're admitting because of the low pay, they're not going to be putting their all into it. You know, they're saying it requires a lot of workload and attention. Because they're not getting paid what they're satisfied with, they're probably not going to give you that type of grace or that type of, attention. Anyway, fellow defense attorneys Justin Hill and Suri Chada Jimenez, who represent other defendants in the case, have also expressed dissatisfaction with the compensation. The trial, which began on January 9, 2023, is expected to last at least 6 months. Initially, Hill accepted the case for $7,500. Wow! Imagine you accepted the case. By the way, this started about like November. I want to say November. Actually, earlier. They got arrested in May. But a lot of the stuff, pre-trial stuff, kind of started, I want to say September, October, November last year. If you took $7,500 for the case, but his pay was double when it became clear it would last nearly a year. Imagine $15,000 for a whole year, despite this pay increase. By the way, this is why, a lot of people, I don't know if you guys are at college age, but going to college, people used to be like, yo, lawyers and doctors get paid a lot. No, some lawyers, most doctors do. For a doctor, if you're going to work for any type of practice, especially for a hospital or something like that, you're going to get paid well. Obviously, if you have your own practice, you could charge more than that. So usually for healthcare professionals, you get paid just marginally a lot more. But when you think about people who are lawyers, I know a dude who was a lawyer who worked at Subway for 3 years afterwards. So he passed the bar, everything, worked at Subway for 3 years afterwards. There's a lot of people that go to law school. There's just not, like you have to have some connects. You have to be lucky a bit. You got to fall into the right places that law degree or that JD is going to help you make that money you think you're going to make. A lot of us think that all lawyers make $100,000. No, there's a huge disparity between that. There's some people who pretty much, they're glorified paralegals. They write up a bunch of stuff. They never really get to court. There's some people who are trial lawyers. There's some people who end up being like Young Thug's lawyer and even Gunna's lawyer. They're like reputed legal attorneys who probably have other attorneys that work for them to write stuff and show up on smaller cases. They usually tag the big guys. Yo, this was so interesting. I was talking to this lawyer. This lawyer says, well, actually, no, I remember a podcast I was watching. They said, how do you know how much to charge? They said, I usually know how much to charge a person based on their lifestyle. And which means that once they start working with you, because law, it's like one of those things, you'll pay more if you have more to lose. It's not one price for everything. It's like if you're with a broke guy trying to defend him, or that's what you got to do at the time, you can't charge him $1 million. You're with Young Thug, you can't, right? So it is what it is. Let me see. For at least about a year for blah, blah, essentially that's less than minimum wage, to be honest. I could be making more money working at Chick-fil-A as a cashier, Hill told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. The defense attorneys are currently paid $15,000 each to represent their client. So the public defendants, all 14 of them, is it 14 or 7 that are, it's 7. 7 of them, they're paid $15,000 each. Last straw came when the trio wrote a letter to the Georgia Public Defender Council in hopes of getting a pay raise. The request was denied. I hope this correspondence finds you well. GPDC received a request. This is turning them down, I guess. Request for additional compensation for that per month. Represent your respective YSL trial involve indigent clients via your contact with GPDC. GPDC is unable to provide additional compensation beyond the contractual case payment, blah, blah, and a one-time separate supplemental, blah, blah. I must underscore the distribution between GPDC and a separate Fulton County C3 program. The Fulton County C3 program is a county-run and county-funded initiative entirely separate from GPDC. The flyer referenced in your past communication advertising $140,000. Well, no, it's $140,000 or $140. Is from the Fulton C3 program. Does not pay hourly rates. Of note, the Fulton C3 program caps payment at $20,000 per case, and requires attorneys to handle their client appeals. As you are no doubt aware, you sign contracts to represent your respective clients with GPDC, not the Fulton C3 program. What the Fulton C3? Okay, all right, I bet. So they turn these people down. So these people say they're not getting paid enough. I'm gonna be honest with you, $15,000. Like you wouldn't give a fuck if somebody gets cooked and fried for $15,000. You got a $15,000 for a year? Like, come on, bro. Like, there's people that are cashiers that are in high school that if they work fucking 30 hours or let's say 25 hours a week, they would get paid more. If you're getting paid $20,000, you wouldn't give a fuck if somebody gets fucking fried. Okay? Damn, that's kind of crazy. Holy. Hey, chat. We're about 5 hours in. I'm gonna need everybody to come over to Rumble right now. Everybody pop over to Rumble. We're probably gonna finish up the stream on there. I'm gonna give y'all like an hour and a half or maybe 2 hours more. But I need everybody to pop over to Rumble. We have been on all platforms for 5 hours now. So if you guys don't know how this is gonna work, I've been telling y'all Twitter or Twitch, welcome back into the fold. Essentially, we're going to be streaming a good amount of all the streams on all platforms, but there's going to be an exclusive part of each and every stream that's always going to be on Rumble, okay? As we kind of end this topic, we're going to do a couple more. Just come on Rumble, and we will be kicking it there for the rest of the stream, all right? Chat, let me, again, I'm going to give y'all a couple minutes, but for the people on the Negotiator YouTube, thank you guys for all the members over there. Love you guys. Head over to Rumble. For the people on the King Akademiks channel, please head over to Rumble, and on Twitch, head over to Rumble as well. Again, as part of our deal, we will be able to stream on other platforms, but we will be given exclusive content in the sense of being on Rumble for a portion of the stream that's not going to be on other platforms, all right? You guys will get the drift of it eventually, all right? Let me see. Cool. So we're getting off of those platforms. We are on Rumble, and I appreciate you guys. I know you guys will rock. You guys will figure it out. Cool. Yeah. So this whole YSL case, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, I've just heard so many people in Atlanta talk about it that I've just particularly thought, well, the way everybody's talking about this particular case, maybe they just let these guys off, or maybe they just plea out. They just want Thug to, they want Thug to take 8 years or 10 years or whatever. Just think about the money they're spending, right? $15,000 for 7 attorneys, right? $15,000 for 7 attorneys. That's definitely, I believe, let's see. Yeah, that's over $100,000 they're spending in attorney fees, right? That the state is spending, right? They got to pay for all these other miscellaneous things that's also a part of bringing all these guys to court every day, because it's 14 defendants left. They're bringing all these guys to court. They got to feed them. They got to do this. They got to do that. Like, there's a lot of things. If you ask me, they're probably going to spend $500,000 or more on trying this case, right? There's I'm pretty sure there's $1 million trial that's going to happen that the state is going to undertake. If they're going to spend this amount of money on trying to get this going on, by the way, they got to pay all jurors, right? They've brought in 2,000 jurors. Usually for jury service, they'll be like, yo, you come in, you get a voucher for like $30 for the time, or like $50. Think about it. 2,000 times 50, right? Like, first of all, 2,000 times 5 is already 10,000, right? Times 50 is going to be 100,000. So now we have a situation where they're paying $100,000 for jury, $100,000 for the attorneys. You got to feed these people. You got to transport them, all type of stuff. We ain't even get to trial yet. Like, this is a long fucking process. You have to imagine that this is $1 million situation. So if they've spent this amount of money to try all these guys, I have to imagine that the prosecutors got to be looking for blood. They got to be looking for blood, in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, somebody said, facts, drop the case. Why would you drop? Like, at this point, they're not going to drop the case. They want a conviction, and they want something that they could feel like, again, if they spent $1 million and they get thugged for 15 years or 20 years, they could be like, yo, we have shown that crime will not happen in Atlanta, and that even rich rappers who think they're above the law can get prosecuted. I think that would be a W for the DA. I think the mayor could probably use that to be like they're cleaning up the communities. They could use that, even though they spent a lot of money to do it, to rally as a win. What would be an absolute loss is to spend all this money and Young Thug eventually gets a year or two, or gets like what Gunna got, which is impossible. Walks out with just like on probation type shit. You know what I mean? So these things are really important in what's probably going to happen. And shit, we're going to see what's going to happen with this whole thing. But if you're asking me, yo, I think the judge is so dug in, somebody got to go to jail and go to jail for a long fucking time. All right? Great. We still got a bunch of more topics to get to. Thank you for coming over to Rumble, people. Again, you guys will kind of get used to the routine.